Welcome back to the channel, everyone. We're picking up right where we left off in the last video. So what we're going to be doing next, we're going to be trying to get this cab to sit on this frame, just kind of position everything where I think it should be. I want to put the cab on, probably block it up with some wood, set it in roughly the right spot, and then probably try and hang a fender and see where this wheel ends up in the fender, try to get the cab in the right spot, and then see how our firewall is looking at the back of the engine, and then how much room we're gonna have at the front. I don't think we're gonna have very much. So that's the plan for today, and then probably end up pulling the glass out of this cab and then maybe start stripping some stuff off of this engine. Get rid of all the unnecessary stuff that we don't need. Okay, so we pulled a little bit of the unnecessary stuff off of this engine. We got the body half of the harness that was still attached to this, and the stuff that ran down to the transmission and the transfer case. So that's all off. Pulled the cruise control off, rad hoses. That's about it. Once I have some plugs, I'll disconnect the Hydro Boost and pull out the ABS module, and then I'm pretty sure I'm getting rid of the ABS, and we'll just hook it right up to the master with some sort of proportioning valve. Shift linkage still on there, but yeah, I didn't pull a whole ton off, but just enough to kind of get it simple, and so that there's nothing back here, because I think the cab is going to be real close to the back of the engine. So we did all that, and then we come over to the cab. We pulled the glass out of the cab. So the back one was really easy. And everything around the back is looking really good. A little bit of surface rust, but that'll all clean up really nice. No issues back here. And then you come into the front one, which we knew it was going to be bad. I knew right up here was really bad, as they always are. And yeah, you can see there's pretty much nothing left of this, and it's just completely full of junk. And same within the corners. They're just rotten from all the stuff falling and landing in there and just sitting in there. This side's worse, because obviously that's why we have this hole here, is because of all the stuff in behind that got caught in there and just rusted it out from in behind. But as much rust as there is down here, everything actually looks solid still. So with everything being solid still, looks like we can just put some rust converter down and we should be okay then. But yeah, it's rough, but I knew it was going to be rough. So we'll get this all cleaned up, and I have this outer panel, like I said, and I'll be ordering the inner one right away here. As well as I came down here, I initially thought that this side was actually good down here, but I poked a hole right here. And right here, I don't think I can quite put a hole in it, but it's pretty soft and squishy. And I'd like to be able to cut this open to clean out all the dirt that's in it anyways. So I guess it's getting lower pillars on both sides, cab corners on both sides, and then outer and inner roof skins on the front, and then this cowl bottom that got absolutely full of dirt. This side actually, I think, this side's actually pretty solid, so should be okay there. So now the next thing I'm gonna do, I'm gonna hook this thing up to the engine crane and try to lift it over here and just kind of see what it looks like, see what we can make happen here. So we have the cab on the frame. Now it's definitely not in the exact spot by any means. When you come into the back, I do have it pretty close to centered on the back. My cab mounts, or the nuts inside the cab mounts line up pretty much exactly on center on top of the frame rail. So I'll have to figure out some way to do a mount for that. I'm thinking potentially bolting on a cross member to the cab that lengthens this mounting point out to here, for example, and then just do a traditional mount here into that cross member that would come across into the bottom of the cab. So I think I've got that one sorted. That one shouldn't be too bad. Right now it's actually, the cab is sitting on the transmission. It's touching the transmission right about here. I pulled the transmission dipstick out because I needed the extra room. And yeah, I'm definitely not far enough forward. As you can see, the wheel sitting in the wheel well. I'm roughly 3 inches off of center right now. However, to bring the cab ahead 3 inches, I don't think I can do that. Like, I've got probably a couple inches back there, but then you start looking at this distance to the manifold is getting tight. Even the distance to the downpipe, which the downpipe I can reshape, that's not a huge deal. But then I kind of started looking over here and it's getting really tight. Like, I can pull this bracket off, but even the cylinder head's right here and it's close. And then this number 6 injection pipe, fuel feed pipe, is also getting very, very close. Now, the cab is sitting crooked right now because of the way it's contacting the transmission on that side. It's wanting to tilt like this. So this side is actually fairly close to where it needs to be. It's more so that side needs to come ahead to straighten the cab out. So right now, I think what my plan is, I'm going to be pulling this tunnel out because it looks like I can pull the screws and pull it out. If not, there might be some cutting involved. But we'll pull this tunnel out, and then I'm gonna have to do some cutting around here, potentially also on this side. I don't know, we'll see, to try and get this cab to sit further ahead. But I pretty much have to just start cutting the floor and the firewall to get this thing further ahead. And then I'll also go ahead and I'll pull that bracket off the back of the cylinder head so we can hopefully get this thing further ahead. I think I have it roughly at the right height right now. The transfer case is very close to hitting the floor. And the truck has a little bit of rake to it right now, which I think is about right. Because the Dodge did not, like, it doesn't have a leveling kit or anything, so the Dodge was also raked quite a bit. So I'm thinking get the cab to sit in the right spot to where the truck has a rake, and then we'll do either leveling kit or small lift kit to get this thing sitting level and to make it look right. This fender is also roughly hanging here. It's not in the exact spot, but even then you can see like how wide this body is compared to even a 3rd gen Dodge. So we're definitely gonna need some offset on the wheels to get them to stick out at least to the edge of the fender, if not more. But yeah, this will be interesting. So we're gonna go ahead and do a little bit of cutting and some removal of stuff up here so we can try and get this cab further ahead. so after a ton of measuring and pushing this thing around and getting it centered on the frame here, we have it sitting pretty much exactly where I need it to be. So I took out the transmission tunnel. We cut a little bit out of this corner here. Took a little bit off the top and then had to kind of make this a little bit bigger because of the way the floor comes down. Like you can kind of see that contour there. It starts coming down way too early. If it would have just continued over, probably would have been okay, but made a little bit of room there. Seems to fit pretty good. Then I actually went ahead, and if you remember, we just had the two 2x4s before, so 3 inches. I did go and add another 3/4 of an inch to bring the back up. Clearance on the transfer case is good. Clearance on the overdrive housing is good. It is getting tight on the back of the engine, not gonna lie. We're probably about an inch off of the exhaust manifold. It's a little tight, lots of room on the downpipe though, so that's good. And over here we have a ton of room because for some reason the transmission or the firewall tunnel is offset for some odd reason. I don't really know why, but we have a lot of room on this side. This side actually looks really good. So then we went ahead and threw a fender on here to get this thing set in the right spot, front to back. And I'm thinking it's in the right spot. I'm kind of torn right now. I'm pretty sure it's good. The only thing I'm questioning is if the body needs to go back like maybe 1/2 inch to an inch at most. Like it's centered. If you look here and you look here, it's centered. But if you actually went and you went on the top, like this corner to this corner, and you just measured that distance, the wheel is too far back. But I feel like you have to go off of this rather than up here. And that's kind of what I'm struggling with right now. I like where the cab is, and I know I'm gonna need as much room up front as possible to fit the radiator and the fan and everything up here, because it's already gonna be tight. So I'm thinking I keep it where it is because I can work with that distance there. It's this room up here that I need to make as much room as possible. But that's gonna do it for today's video. We're making some pretty good progress. This thing's actually starting to look like a truck again. It's starting to look really cool. In the next episode, you'll see we'll probably hang the rest of the front end, put the other fender on, and get the rad support in, so we can kind of see, well, A, what we need to do for radiator support mounts on the frame, but also figure out how much room we're actually gonna have up front for the radiator, the condenser, the intercooler, the transcooler, and the power steering cooler all up front. It's gonna be tight, but being a grain truck, it's a little bit bigger of a front end, so I do have a little more room to work with, but it's still gonna be tight, and I know that. So be sure to subscribe, be sure to like the video, be sure to comment down below. Be sure to check it out on Instagram, early posts over on Instagram if you want to check that out. Link will be in the description. And with all that being said, we'll see you guys in the next one.